Welcome to the Krishna Das Pilgrim Heart Hour. In this podcast, Krishna Das shares his warm-hearted and down-to-earth path to the divine. If you are interested in supporting Krishna Das's podcast, please go to BeHereNowNetwork.com/KD.
Amesham Nirvana Rupam Vibham Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam Nirjam Nirgunam Nirvikalpam Niriham Chitakasham Akasha Vasam Bhajeham Nirakaram Omkara Mulam Turiham Kiragyana Gotita Nisham Girisham Karalam Mahakala Kalam Kripalam Gunangara Samsara Param Natoham Shambho Sada Shiva 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 Shambho Sada Shivambo Sada Shivambo Sada Shivambo Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shivambo Sada Sada Shivambo Shiva Sada Shiva Shambho. Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho. Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho. Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho. Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho. Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada. Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada. Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada Shiva Shambho Sada. Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada. Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho. Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada. Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada, Shiva Shambho Sada. Mahadev Shambho, Mahadev Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Ganga. Har Mahadev Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Ganga. Har Mahadev Shambho, Har Har Mahadev Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Ganga. Har Har Mahadev Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Ganga. Har 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 Mahadev Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Ganga. Har 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 Mahadev Shambho, Har Har Mahadev Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Ganga. Har Har Mahadev Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambhu Kashi Vishwanath Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanath Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanath Gange Hara Bam Bam Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Bam Bam Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanath Gange Kashi Vishwanath Gange Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanath Gange Hara 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 Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanath Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanath Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanath Gange Okay. Hara Hara Mahadev Shambho. Boy, sitting on the banks of the Ganga in Benares, Kashi, watching the river flow by, the sun setting, the smoke from the fires filling the atmosphere, not just the cooking fires, but the fires from Manikarnika Ghat, which is the Ghat, the area where they burn all the dead bodies. It's believed that people who come to Benares who die in Benares, that Shiva himself comes and whispers Rama in their ear as they leave their bodies, freeing them from rebirth, at least for a while. It's hard to know what any of that means. One time we were with Siddhima, and there's a line in the Hanuman Chalisa, Antakala Raghubara Pura Jai, Jahan Janama Hare Bhakta Kahai. Antakala means the end of time. In this case, it means when you die, you take birth in Ram's abode as a devotee of Ram. So we were there. I think Arjun asked Siddhima, so Ma, does that mean when we die, we go to Ram's abode? She hesitated for a minute, then she said, not exactly. So it's really hard to know what all these things mean in terms of experiential reality here, what it really means. But it's good. There's no question about that. It's got to be good. Got to be good. Did I ever meet Anandamayi Ma? Yes, I did, quite a few times. When you say meet, you don't meet exactly. You have darshan. The word is darshan, which means you see the saint. You can see the saint with your eyes, or actually you can have darshan within as well. But yes, I had darshan of Anandamayi Ma quite a few times in India. She and Maharaji knew each other very well for a very long time. And Mr. Tiwari, my Indian father and great teacher, was with Maharaji in the mountains in Nainital, the very first time that Anandamayi Ma and Maharaji met in this life. And he said they looked at each other and just cracked up and like, this is what you look like now? Ha! And they laughing. It was quite beautiful, they say, quite beautiful. Anandamayi Ma's scene was very strict, very traditional, very strict. It was run by the Brahmins, the upper caste people. Many of her devotees, her close devotees, were Brahmins. And it didn't seem to us that they liked the Westerners very much. And they didn't make it easy for us to be with her, although we were allowed to sit in her vicinity, not too close, but in her vicinity. And she was so beautiful. I mean, just Anandamayi means bliss-permeated mother, Ma. Anandamayi Ma, bliss-permeated, and she was bliss-permeated. It was beautiful, so beautiful. She would just sit and just floating, just moving back and forth, you know, with the bliss of God. So beautiful. Someone says they've just left an abusive relationship, trying to remake life with a kid. Where can we find strength? Well, it looks like you've already found strength. Just removing yourself from that terrible situation took a tremendous amount of strength. You have to give yourself credit for that, because that's a really big thing. You must have tremendous courage and tremendous strength to be able to free yourself from that kind of situation. So just be open to the changes and just do your best to provide for your child and find a way to live in the world in a good way. I don't know. I know there are many groups that support groups for people in your situation. And I certainly would try to find that kind of love and support from people who have gone through the same thing. So unfortunately, I don't know what else to tell you about it. But give yourself credit. Even if it's difficult from now on, it won't be as difficult as it was in that relationship. So you have tremendous courage and strength to already have been able to free yourself from that. So give yourself some credit. It seems to be the love day. Okay, how do you go about accepting and loving someone unconditionally for who they are, but at the same time trying to help them and give them advice? It feels like a paradox. You know, we human beings do not have unconditional love. Unconditional love means loving everyone equally. And that can only be when we love from our soul and we love the soul of the other person. You cannot love a personality unconditionally from your personality. There's no unconditioned. There's only conditions in personality and romantic love. It's all about conditions and getting and receiving. And as my Indian father used to say, it's business. He said, do your business. He said, enjoy. But he said, love? He said, love lasts 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's unconditional love. So it's useful to speak and to think clearly, as clearly as possible. Our personalities cannot. You're talking about giving advice, helping them. Unconditional love is beyond all that. When you love everyone, when you love one person unconditionally, you love all beings unconditionally. There's no middle ground. Unconditional love is the state of oneness, non-dual state of all one, as Maharaj used to say, all one, sub ek. We're not there. And it's good to realize and recognize where we really are so we can work on our stuff. Just seeing somebody else's stuff as faults is already judgmental mind. What can you do for somebody? You're judging them. You think you know better than they know what they should be doing. That's all conditions and conditioning and attachment and aversion and all that stuff. So chill out. You be you and let everybody else be who they are. You have no job. It's not your job to help other people. It's your job to find the love that lives within you and then let everybody into that. So, yeah, so unconditional is unconditional. That's beyond us at this point. But it's not impossible because it lives within us already. Unconditional love, real love lives within us. But we are stuck in the waves of the ocean instead, and we can't get to the depths where the real love is. We're attached to the surface, identified with the surface, the waves, the personality, the thoughts, the emotions. So chill out, be happy, and let other people be who they are. And then you're going to get closer to unconditional love. When you think you know better than somebody else and you're trying to help somebody and change somebody, forget about it. Just love, really love, which means letting somebody be who they are. Of course, if they're playing in the street, you can say, hey, get your ass on the side. Don't play in traffic. That's useful. But you know what I'm saying? Take it easy. Take it easy. It's not a paradox. Unconditional love is something we must experience directly ourselves. You don't get it from someone else. You don't fall in it, you don't fall out of it. So it's not a paradox. It's only a paradox in your head, because unconditional and judging look like two different things. And in our minds, they are. But in our hearts, in our essence, in our real love, there's not two different things. That's where these names come from. That's what these names are the names of, which is why we chant these names, because these names move us deeper into our true being, which is love. What advice would I give to someone learning to play the harmonium? Yeah, don't quit your day job. That's my advice. Don't try to use it to make money. Enjoy. Just take some piano lessons. Don't take Indian music lessons. That's too complicated and too far advanced for us. And it's a lifetime study, and it's beautiful, but it's way beyond our pay grade. Take some piano lessons and learn the chords and the names and the fingering, and the keyboard on the harmonium is the same as a piano. Of course, you play it with one hand, but that's okay. You'll learn a lot taking piano lessons. Bhajiloji means, oh, my friends, sing the name of Hanuman. Bhaj, bhajao, bhajao, bhaj name. Did Maharaji ever give any teaching on how to do kirtan? No. He just said sing, and he never said when we should stop until he sent us away, for the evening. No teaching about it. He just said, from the repetition of the name, everything is accomplished. So he didn't teach about it. He just instructed us to sing. Yeah. Our relationship with our parents can be very, very difficult. We don't know our parents as people. We only know them as our parents. We don't know how many times their hearts were broken. We don't know how their parents treated them. We don't know what they've gone through that made them into the person they are now. All we know is this person that raised us has a lot of ideas about us and themselves, and sometimes they can be very difficult, very judgmental, very judging and harsh. Even though there might be love there, they may not be able to express that because they have their own issues. When your parents lay a trip on you, if you get caught in reacting, that's your problem, not theirs. They are allowed to be who they are. And even though we might be angry at them, even though they may have done things that hurt us in many different ways, they're allowed to be who they are. It's up to us to clean our hearts of the reaction, the betrayal, and all the hurt and the pain. And we would not be here if not for our parents. I know that seems like a very simple thing to say, almost simplistic. But hey, you have a body because your parents got together and did the nookie nookie. Without that, you're not here. And not being here, you have no chance to repeat the name. You have no chance to learn the Dharma. You have no chance to find out who you are. They gave you that chance. Now, they may have also created a lot of negativity around that. But even so, we would not be here if it wasn't for our parents. That's a really big thing. The thing is that we don't truly, for most of us, we don't really appreciate being alive. We think it's just a big crock of shit and nothing but suffering. And we wish we weren't here. But unfortunately, there is no place, and there is never going to be a place where we will not be here. Right now, we are here in this body, in this world, in this time. That's just one frame of the movie. But we don't really appreciate it, so we don't understand. We don't recognize what a gift, the gift of life is. And we pissed off at our parents and angry and reacting and telling we don't want to be with them, we don't want to help them, we don't want to, we're not able. And partially it's because of the way they treated us, for sure. But outside of all that, we're only here because they created us physically, and our souls took a seat in this body temporarily. As you get older, as I get older, I see more and more how my programs keep me spinning around. And I feel more and more a sense of needing to commit to moving more deeply within before that opportunity changes, so to speak. So when you're young, you never think about these things, really. Yeah, you think you'll always be here. But when you start to get older and shit doesn't work the way it used to work, you begin to realize, whoa, whoa. So you start to take your life a little bit more, not seriously, that's the wrong word. You try to be more committed to living in a good way the older you get, if you're been doing practice. So what if parents abuse their kids? Yeah, well, it's a terrible situation and it shouldn't happen. When I say parents are allowed to be who they are, that doesn't mean they're allowed to abuse their children. They may do that. And you can allow somebody to be who they are, but you can also make a boundary. Unfortunately, if you're a young child, you can't protect yourself from the abuse of elders. And that's a terrible thing. And that one should do whatever one can to alleviate that kind of a situation if it comes in your experience to help with that. But you don't have to hate. That's the thing. Only more hatred can come from hatred. More anger can come from anger. Nothing, you're planting seeds. If you have to take an action against someone who is doing bad things, we're not required to hate. We might hate. We might be reactive, so reactive that we actually hate. And we might try to hurt that person also. Unfortunately, that's not the best thing to do. It's very difficult not to do that. So in no way is it okay to abuse anyone at any time, or to use anyone for your own emotional, psychological, whatever. Yeah, it's not good. But how to change that? Very difficult. Very difficult. After gradually working up to it, how long should one ideally practice daily? I long to sit for hours, making leaps and bounds towards the goal, but I know I'm not built for it in this life. Yeah, the goal is not far away. You don't need leaps and bounds to the goal. You just need to relax and learn to appreciate yourself. Give yourself a break. All this ideas about one should have this, how much should I practice? I want to sit for hours. Just sit for hours, you could be just totally blank. What good is that? You know the story about the sadhu who lives on the bank of the Ganga, and he gives his disciple, he says, make me some tea. And then he's sitting there, he goes into samadhi. And when he opens his eyes, 5 years has gone by. And he looks around. The hut that he was sitting in is gone. The river's dried up and is like hundreds of feet away. The disciple's gone and married and has a family, and he doesn't know what happened. That kind of blank state of mind is not positive. It's numbness. It's not positive. Become a good human being. There's nowhere else to go. The higher states of mind, the more subtle states of consciousness will arise naturally when you are ready. Sitting for long hours is not going to make you ready, because most of that time you'll be thinking about yourself. Yeah, I'm really sitting for long hours. I'm really doing it. Oh my, I'm going to really get high. I'm going to hit those big great samadhi. Bullshit. Nothing's going to happen except more thinking about yourself. Don't think about yourself. Notice that's all you do, and start letting go of it. Think about other people. Become more aware of what's going on around you. What are other people feeling? Is there anything you can do to provide seva or service for them? Sitting long hours is not required. If it happens naturally, that's different. But your whole question is all about you don't love yourself the way you are and you want to be somebody else. Good luck. Ain't gonna happen. So someone says their friend's mother died after many years, and they were very close. Their friend has not been able to cry and feels empty. She doesn't understand why she can't feel anything. She feels dead inside, and this person is asking, how can I help her? Time will heal everything. Grief, you can't avoid grief. Grief is a reaction to things that happen that are painful. And when people that we love leave their bodies, in our selfish way, we are hurt because we don't have them with us that way anymore. We think they're gone. They're actually not gone. The body is gone. But because we feel that they're gone, we grieve. It's a natural thing. I grieve. I'm not beyond grief. In the last few years, so many people who have been close to me, my elders, my teachers, my well-wishers, have left their bodies. It's been intense. And I have grief about it. But at the same time, I still feel them. I feel them. If I close my eyes, it's as if they're sitting there. Now, if you're really in heavy grief, you won't let yourself feel that. So what can you do for somebody? At that point, you just have to let them grieve. It's a healthy thing. Hopefully, they don't use it to beat themselves up with, which is what the next thing is. People use their negative emotions, their unhappy emotions, to then add on to it and say, I'm so terrible, I can't feel anything, I'm such a horrible person, blah, blah, blah. So they add on to it. You don't have to add on to it. Grieve. And it's not that this person doesn't feel anything. It's just that they're grieving. They feel grief. And they're not letting themselves feel that love. Feel the connection. And there's nothing positive about that. But there's nothing you can do. That's all because of the way we identify ourselves as a human being in this body. That was my mother. She's in that body. She was in that body. Now she's not. Now she's gone. That's what we're taught by people who don't know shit. The people who know a lot about life, they don't see it that way. But we've been brought up in the West, which is all externally identified with stuff. You got to have stuff to make you happy. Without stuff, you'll never be happy. And nobody looks at their minds or their emotions. Everybody just wants more and more and more stuff from the outside. People are outside. Love is outside. That's what most of us believe. So it's no wonder we suffer. So you can't stop a person from grieving. Just love them. Let them go through what they have to go through. And be there for them. What else can you do? Ramdas, there was a Ramdas talk. The question is, he mentioned traveling to other planes and even making non-physical friends. Did he ever talk about these experiences with you? Have you ever had such experiences? No, I never have. And Ramdas, he had a lot of different kinds of experiences over the years. Even so, he didn't always believe them. He had some, up until very close to the end of his life, he had doubts about his experiences, whether they were real or not. By the end, I think those doubts had gone. But I remember one time he used to go to the beach on Monday and go swimming with a tube and everything, and because he couldn't move, but he could float with a tube. And he loved being in the water because it was the only time he was free of his weight. I mean, being in a wheelchair for over 20 years, all you feel is the weight of your body. So in the salt water, he was free to that. So he loved that. But one time I was always late to the beach because they left early in the morning and I didn't quite get going that early. So by the time I got going, I got to the beach, and on my way to the beach, I saw Ramdas sitting over on the side in the car. So I walked over there. The door was open, and he was sitting in the front seat. The door was open. So I walked up, and I kind of hunched down outside the car, and I could see he was really in a dark place. He was really, oh. And he saw me sitting there, and he looks at me and he says, "I'm a fake, and you're a fake too." So I looked up at him and I said, "Yeah, but we're real fakes." And he just exploded in laughter. It was the greatest thing. I used to love to make him laugh. And he would just explode. It was so great. So, there's all kinds of experiences. But they come and go. What doesn't come and go is what we're really looking for, which is real love. If your desire experiences, you'll get them, but so what? It's just like a piece of candy. It's going to come, it's going to go. Then you're left with nothing again. What's the sense? Let's find out who we are. Let's find that love that lives within us as who we really are. That's the best thing we could possibly do for ourselves and everyone else in the universe. I don't plan to be in India for at least a year. I don't think I'll be able to get there. I'm having health issues, go to a doctor. If that doesn't work, go to another doctor. If that doesn't work, go to another doctor. Do you think years of psychedelics and trying to find a way can make the body tired? I don't know necessarily about that, but one issue of taking psychedelics is that you might have these great experiences, but they don't last. Maharaji used to say, he said, the yogi medicine, which was LSD, he called it the yogi medicine. The yogi medicine brings you into the room with Christ. Wow. But you can't stay. Oh. The only way to stay is love. And to find that love, to open to that love, to move into that love, takes a lot of commitment, devotion, practice, understanding, wisdom, service. It doesn't come like this. What you get with those chemicals are an analog of a spiritual experience. Then it's not really the same but it can open you up. He used to say, the yogi medicine is good for beginners, and I agree. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my first peyote trip between my junior and senior years of high school. That changed my life. I took the peyote that a friend had brought from the Southwest, and I knew what I was experiencing was more real than anything that I experienced on Long Island in my life up to that point. It was more real. I had no doubt about that. And that led me to try more drugs, more chemicals, to try to get that again. But then I realized I was going up, I was going down, I was going up, I was going down. I had an intuition that if I stopped going up and stopped going down, that the plateau of my consciousness would rise. And there would be no more up and down, up and down. And I don't know if it actually worked out or not, but I remember thinking that. Please explain to me more about why we should be grateful to be alive in this world of suffering. I can't explain it to you. I can't make you feel it. I can just, because you're not. There is nowhere that you are not going to be, ever. You're here. Right now, you're in this body. You're identified with this body. Spiritual people who know say that when this body dies, you don't die. You take another form. And that next form that you take is created by your karmas. And your karmas are created to a large extent about your actions right now. If you live in anger, if you are hurtful to other people, if you are manipulative, if you are selfish, if you are hurtful, if you cause suffering, you will suffer. Though you're creating negative karmas for yourself. If you are working on developing kindness and compassion and treating other people well and becoming a good human being, you're creating positive karmas for yourself. I'm not asking you to believe it. This is what I believe. You don't have to believe it. But you could still, without believing anything I say about it, you could still try to find out why you suffer. And if you're really sincere and honest with yourself and really look for why you suffer, you don't need to do anything else. You don't have to believe anything else. Just search for that answer. You say, why should we be in this life of suffering? Well, here you are. You don't know how you got here. Is it just a mistake? Could be. I don't know. Why don't you try to find out? And if you are suffering, what is that? Why are you suffering? What does it mean to you? What's causing the suffering? Examine it. Search for the cause of why you're suffering. Because you can do that here, now. Once you die, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you'll be able to do or not do. But right now, if you're suffering, just try to find that's the reason. Try to alleviate your suffering right now, in this life, today. Why suffer? Find out what it is, why it's going on. Find the answer to it. If you don't want to suffer, look for the cause of suffering and try to alleviate that suffering for yourself. See what happens. Or just mope around and then you'll be dead and then who knows what happens. But while you're here and you have some choices you could make, try to find out what it is. Why? What is the suffering? Where does it come from? And engage in that pursuit. Good luck, really. Can you explain why we should allow them to be who they are? I'm not sure. Because wouldn't you like other people to allow you to be who you are? Or do you want people to be telling you what to do all the time and judging you and pushing you around, telling you can't do this, you can't do that, you're no good, you're this and that? I don't think you want that. So neither does anybody else. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That's not too difficult to understand. You want to be who you are. You don't want to be told what to do. You don't want to be pushed around. Why would you want to push other people around? Where does that come from? Maharaja did not scoff at meditation. Quite the opposite. He scoffed at fake meditation. He scoffed at people pretending to be spiritual because he couldn't be fooled. He used to say, people come here and try to fool me. He said, I go on fooling the whole world, and people come here and think they can fool me. He could see everybody's minds and hearts. He knew what they'd done thousands of lifetimes ago. You couldn't fool him. So he scoffed at falseness and superficiality. And what he said about meditation to Siddhima, who said that to me, she said, Maharaji said the higher states or the more subtle states of consciousness cannot be achieved by the use of your personal willpower. You can't will yourself into the more subtle states. Now, that's a very difficult thing to understand, and it's really beyond my pay grade. But he did say, through the practice of the repetition of the name and through serving others, the heart is purified, and those states will arise naturally when you are ready. That's not scoffing at meditation at all. But it's pointing out that the deeper states, because when most people talk about meditation, what their idea of meditation is what's called concentration, holding the mind on one point. That's very difficult to do, but it's also a very early stage of meditation. And there are other ways to meditate, other types of meditation practices that don't involve that kind of fierce concentration, although some concentration is required. Meditation is a really big subject, and believe Maharaji did not scoff at it, but he didn't like pretenders. Well, I shouldn't say that. He loved everybody. But he could see who was pretending and who was real. Let's put it that way. And Siddhima said, in 40 years with Maharaji, he never asked me to meditate, but he asked me to do japa, to repeat the name, and to serve others. And through that, the heart is purified, and the natural state arises. So it's a really big subject, and it's very subtle. And I'm just a beginner. But you can't sit down and meditate yourself into oblivion or into whatever. It's not going to work like that, according to him. Did Maharaji give any hint on how to chant Ram in the way that really brings you into the presence and isn't fake? Is it all intention or more surrender or even your tone? Maharaji said that one should keep on repeating the name. Keep on going on repeating the name, doing the japa, doing the chanting, even if you have no sincere devotion, even if you're angry, even if you're tired, even if you're sad, even if this and that, you should go on doing the practice, because the very practice of repeating the name purifies the heart. And one of these days, you'll repeat the name, the calling out will become sincere, and the real Ram will come. That's what he said. So the practice itself is purification. Purifies and cleans the mirror of the heart. So it's not, he said, go on, repeat your fake Ram Ram. He said, go on, keep doing it, because if you don't plant the seeds, nothing will happen. That's a very different statement than what you've written here. Is it all intention or surrender or even tone? It's certainly not tone. And I don't know about surrender, but the intention is to repeat the name and to pay some attention and to do it with sincerity. Not that you try to manufacture a particular feeling, but that you keep coming back when your mind takes you away. When your thoughts take you away, you recognize you come back. You recognize you come back. You come back. You come back. Eventually, you get more used to being here, to being present, And everything opens up in a different way at that point. And it happens little by little, just like a fruit is ripened in the sun. It does not happen overnight. And the sun has to be shining. We have to, by doing practice, we're taking our hearts out into the sun to be ripened by that love that lives within us. So that's it for tonight. Let's ripen a little bit more. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nijamana Mukura Sudhar Barano Raghubara Bimala Jasu Chodaya Kupalachari Buddhihin Tanajan Ke Sumiram Pavan Kumar Siaram Balabuddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Parukale Subhikar Syavara Ramachandra Vadaja Sharanam Jaya Hanuman Jnana Guna Saga Jaya Kapisati Loka Ujjala Ramadutta Tulita Baladham Jani Putra Pavan Sutanam Mahavira Bikram Bhajarangi Martinivar Sumati Kesangi Kanchana Varana Viraja Subesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa Hat Bajurora Dvaja Viraja Ande Munja Jane Usan Ankara Suvan Kesari Nanda Teja Pratapa Mahajagabanda Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatura Ramakaja Karibeko Atura Prabhu Charita Sunibeko Rasya Rama Lakhana Sita Manabasi Sukshma Rupa Rasiya Hindakala Vikata Rupa Dare Lanka Jara Hima Rupa Dare Asura Sari Ramachandra Ke Kaja Samvari Aya Sajivan Lakhana Jiya Shira Govira Shira Lai Raghupati Kinhi Bhota Barai Tumama Priya Bharatai Samabhai Sasabadan Tumaro Jasagavan Asakahi Shri Pati Kanta Lagavan Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Narada Sharada Sahita Hisa Jamakubera Digapala Jahante Kabiko Bidakai Sake Kahante Maupakaru Sugriva Inkinha Rama Melaya Raja Padadina Maro Mantra Bibhishanamana Keshwarabai Sabba Jagajan Yuga Sahasra Jojana Parabhanu Ilyotai Madhura Palajan Prabhu Mudrika Mile Mukamahi Chaladilange Gae Acharajanahi दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे ते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे तनाज्ञा बिनु पैजार सब सुख लाहे तुम्हारी शरण तुम्हारा चक कहू को दरण आपन तेज समारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाचन कट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासे रोग हरे सब पीर जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीर संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साज और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोए अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों युग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुरन कंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पास सदा रहो रघुपति के दास तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाय जहाँ जन्म हरे भक्त कहाय और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करे संकट कटे मिथे सब पीरा जो सुमेरे हनुमत बलबीर जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर को छुत ही बंदी महासुख होय जोय पर हनुमान चालीसा होया सिद्धि साकी गणेश तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा कीजिए नाथ हृदय मंदिर पवन तनय संकट हरण मंगल मूर्ति रूप सिया राम राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसौ सुरभूप सियावर रामचंद्र पद जय शरणम मंगल मूर्ति मारुत नंदन सकल अमंगल मूल निकंदन मंगल मूर्ति मारुत नंदन सकल अमंगल मूल निकंदन श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम राम जय जय राम हे राम जय जय राम हे राम जय जय राम हे राम जय राम हे राम जय जय राम राम जय राम हे राम जय जय राम जय राम जय राम जय राम जय सिया राम जय बाबा हनुमान संकट मोचन कृपा निधान Jai Siya Ram, Jai Baba Hanuman, Sankat Mochan Kripanidhan. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Sankat Mochan Kripanidhan. Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Sankat Mochan Kripanidhan. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sita Ram, Jai Sita 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 Ram. Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. If we know anything about a path at all, it's only because of the great beings that have gone before us. Out of their love, out of their kindness, they left some footprints for us to follow. So, in the same way that they wish for us, in the same way that they wish for us, we wish that all beings everywhere, all of us, be safe, be happy, that all of us have good health and enough to eat. And may we all live in peace and that ease of heart, with whatever comes to us in life. Chanting, chanting, Namaste. Take good care. Be well. Be healthy. And next week, we have a special program for you because I will not be here. I'll be here, but not here. I'll be here somewhere else. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And remember, you can always go back and listen. It's the same stuff over and over again every week for the last 111 or 112 weeks, right? So just go back and listen again. It's not like you're going to hear something new next week or whatever week we do this. So anyhow, all the best, much love, Ram Ram, be well.